Okay, Stefan, so here I am. I'm going to make the green chili with pork meat that you like so much. So I went to the store, Ridley's, and I bought the country style ribs, you know that I like them so much. And they come out in strips like this. Okay? Like this. You chop them up into bite size, and you put them in a pan. You season them up, and then you add your chili, which I'm going to finish cutting this one up. Put it in the pan, brown it for, put the seasonings in it, brown it, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm here at the pan, and it's on the stove, as you can tell. Yay! Okay, so to the meat I add seasoned salt. You can add it everywhere. Okay, pepper, black pepper, add it to the meat. Okay, and you can use garlic powder, but I have freshly minced some garlic. Okay, but I don't add this until later when the meat is browned because this will turn bitter. So you want to add this at the same time that you add the onions and the tomatoes, which I have already cut up and have set aside. Okay? Let me brown this meat and I'll be right back with you. So just a quick note, I forgot to add that when you add the meat into the saucepan, you want to add like some oil. It just depends on how much meat. Because I cook big meals, I added like about 2 tablespoons to the meat so it'll brown. But since it's pork meat, you don't want to add too much because if you do, it'll be really super greasy. And since this is pork meat is already greasy as it is, so we don't want to eat too much grease. So for you guys, if it's just for you and Dawn, I would say like maybe a teaspoon of oil would be fine. Okay, now let me show you about the sauce that I'm making. You know, the chile verde you like so much. So in here I have tomatillos. You know what they look like. You add it with some water, not too much because the tomatillos have a lot of water and you're going to add this to the blender. And of course, I use the serrano chiles, or you can use the the jalapenos if you like. I'm also going to add to this at the last minute. I'm going to add 1 tomato. Okay, so that's cooking on the fire right now. So I will finish browning the meat and wait for this to cook, and then I'll be right back. Okay, mijo, so at this point, the meat has reduced its juices, and it is now actually the good part of it. I forgot to mention, too, you can also use pork chops for this dish. It's cheaper for you than the country style rib things. So at this point, we want to add the garlic. Oh, I chopped up 2 cloves of garlic, but for you, maybe 1 clove would be fine. And then, of course, the onions and the tomatoes. If you don't want the onions and the tomatoes, and you prefer other vegetables, you can also get bell peppers if you like it that way. You don't have to have the onions and the tomatoes if you don't want to. Just adds flavor to it. It's a good combination. And of course, you know, your dad's making the rice to go with our dinner. So after this has browned a little and has the onions have cooked through, you'll know when they're cooked through, they turn translucent. Then you want to add the chile, which is sitting right there. See, I already added the tomato. So let me get going on the sauce and I'll be right back. Okay, chetos, or Esteban, here we are. So to the blender, I'm going to add 1 garlic clove and some onion. You can tell I already added the onion. And we're going to add 2 cloves, clavos, we say in Spanish. 2 cloves and 2 peppercorn seeds and cumin seeds. Oh, sorry. Cumin seeds, I'm pretty sure you know what they are. So just add a little bit of cumin seeds. Maybe like a little pinch, whatever you can get in your hand and your fingers like that. And then, of course, you want to add your chiles, your tomatillo, and your tomato to the blender. Things I do for my son. Okay. And then you want to blend this thoroughly. And when this is all blended, the meat should have already been cooked. So let me see, and I'll be right back. Okay. At this point, as you can tell, look at the onions. They're translucent. And the tomatoes are kind of wilted, so the meat is ready for the sauce. So let me blend it, and I'll add it to the meat, and there you go. Okay, Esteban, so here I am. I've blended the chile. Look how yummy it is. It's kind of thick. See, you get this thick kind of pasty thing. Don't worry about it because you're going to add water to it. Okay? So, here's your meat. You add the chile to it. Okay? Add to it. And then you're going to add like about just enough water for it not to be this thick. So you can get a good sauce to it with the meat. See, because this is awful thick. For this, I think I would add, see how my blender has 40? I think I would add like 32 of water. So it will be not too runny, but not too thick. I know it drives you crazy when I say that, but that's the way it is. You just know these things. So anyway, this is your wonderful pork meat with green chili sauce that you love so much. You don't have to make the green chili sauce. You can make the regular chili sauce that has the red, which is the red chilies instead, which are the dry, small, thin chilies, instead of adding the green ones. You can add those to the tomatillos, or you can add my personal favorite, habanero, to it, or you can add the red California chiles, and that will make it still a sauce, but it's not going to be like super spicy. So just let it boil for a good, I'd say 20 minutes to half hour, just so that the chile and the meat can kind of like incorporate to each other, like marry to each other, I guess is the proper way to say it. And ta-da! There's your food. So I hope you liked the video, mijo, and if you have any questions, call me. Thank you. Bye. Then I forgot to mention that at this point, after you add the water, see the consistency of it? It might look a little runny, but you got to realize that it will reduce because it will boil. And then you get that wonderful sauce. But at this point, when you're at this point, you want to add your salt. If you want more spices, you can also do so. But you know me, I don't add a whole lot of salt to my food. So at this point, you always want to add salt, whatever to taste, you could say. So that was the last little note I wanted to add. So just make sure that this boils for a good 20 minutes because it is pork meat. You want to make sure it's cooked all the way through, and then you're done. And this is your dinner. Bye.